So if you've ever tried to learn a new language, you know the feeling, right? You start out you're excited, steps are fun, and then you hit a wall. That feeling that you're just not getting it. And maybe you never will. Well, what if I told you the problem isn't your brain? But actually the story you're telling yourself. Let's get into it. It's a question pretty much everyone asks. You put in the hours, you study all the grammar. But the second, you try to have a real live conversation. It all falls apart. You feel stuck and you are definitely not alone, and look. This isn't just me talking. These are real frustrations pulled from people online, sharing their actual struggles. This feeling of being stuck, it's a totally shared experience. But the good news is, it's usually based on a few mental traps that we can absolutely learn to escape. Okay, so to get past this wall, we first have to understand what's holding us back. And here's the thing. It's almost never about how smart you are. It usually comes down to one of three psychological traps. Nostalgia, regret, and frustration. First up is nostalgia. You know the one, it's that worm. Fuzzy memory of the good old days. We remember those first few weeks with the language app. How easy it felt, how fast we were leveling up. But our brain has this funny way of forgetting that those super simple exercises have almost nothing to do with the messy, fast and beautiful reality of an actual conversation. And this what I mean. This just nails it, doesn't it? This Lene is so fed up with that simple beginner level stuff. They're pointing out this huge gap between the perfect little wall inside the appendary wall, where nobody, and I mean nobody, talks like that. Alright, trap, no doses regret. This is that little voice in your head that loves to play the if only game. If only I'd started learning Spanish back in high school, or if only I'd studied abroad. Regret is such a trap, because it makes us compare our messy, real present with some kind of perfect, imaginary past that never even happened. It keeps us looking backward, so we can see the opportunities right in front of us. All of this is just such a painful example of regret. And comparison in action. Imagine if the year and a half of trying. The result feels like a total failure. This is the kind of thinking that makes you second guess every single decision you've made. And it just leaves you feeling defeated, or even disgusted by language learning. And the third trap is frustration. And let's be honest, this is really a form of resentment. It's that feeling when we get angry at the language itself for being so unfairly complicated. Or even worse, when we get hit by a bad intention with someone. We feel like we've been wronged, and the thing just builds a wall between us and the very thing we're trying to get close to. Wow, this experience of being shamed is just so incredibly powerful and demotivating. Saying and frustration in a moment like that. It isn't hitting those weights. It's hitting the lane, it's draining their energy and making them want to just give up entirely. So the big question is, how do we break free from these traps? We break free by making a fundamental pivot. We have to completely change the goal of the game, shifting our focus away from mesting abstract rules and toward building actual human relationships. So think of it like this on one side. You've got textbook Spanish. This is the world of endless grammar tables, complicated conjugations, and this constant nagging fear of making a mistake. But on the other side, you have connection Spanish. And here the goal isn't perfection at all. It's just communication. The focus is all on being polite, being friendly, and simply being understood. This right here. This is the heart and soul of textbook Spanish. It's a direct quote from a grammar guide. And yeah, it's 100% correct. It's logical and it's completely lifeless. Memorizing this rule will not help you make a friend. But this is connection Spanish. This famous phrase, my house is your house. You see, it's not about making sure your non-send adjectives. Agree, it's about warmth. It's about welcome, it's about generosity. It's a cultural tool. Let's just disguise this a sentence. And this is a pivot. Cyril secret isn't buried in some rulebook. It's in the invitation. Okay, so how do we start using connection Spanish? Like right now, well, it starts with a few simple, but really powerful tools that prioritize warmth and politeness. Over perfect grammar, this is your politeness power up. Just look at the difference here. Dame agua is the act, it's basically a command. Give me water, but me regalas un vasito de agua. That is incredibly warm, it literally translates to will you give me a little glass of water? It turns a transaction into a gentle request. Between two people, same thing with disculpa, which is a quechua excuse me, versus perdóname, forgive me, which carries so much more heart. Tiny changes but a massive difference in tone. And honestly, one of the best tools for this is a diñito. Ahorita to web. This isn't just about making something physically small, it's a cultural secret weapon. It signals friendliness, kindness, and affection. Asking for an agua or a cafecito instantly makes a whole interaction soft and more friendly. It's like a social lubricant that's built right into the language. Alright, so after all of this, what's the big takeaway? We need to completely reframe what we're actually trying to do. When we learn Spanish, this right here is the single most important idea. We get so lost in the tools, the web charts, the vocabulary lists, that we totally forget what we're trying to build. The tools are important, yes, absolutely, but they are not the final product. The goal is and always has been human connection. So here's your game plan moving forward. It's 3 simple steps. First, figure out which trope is holding you back the most. Is it a nostalgia or a great frustration? Second, consciously reframe your goal. Every single time you sit down to study, remind yourself, my goal is not perfection, it's connection. And third, when you're in a real conversation, engage yourself in that present moment. Stop worrying about the past or the future, and just focus on the present right in front of you. And I'll just leave you with this final thought. Fluency is this big scary big destination that always seems like it's miles away. But what if you just change your definition of success? What if your goal for today wasn't some far-off idea of fluency, but simply to have one more meaningful conversation than you had yesterday? Just think about what would change then.